I'm Kristen Spickard with the CitiZine project, and today you're watching the You Can Make a Zine workshop. The CitiZine project was born in 2016 out of UCA's Division of Outreach and Community Engagement. Since January of 2017, Dr. Lesley, Graybeal, and I have done many zine workshops for the UCA community and elsewhere in Conway. This year, we're excited to be able to start offering the workshops in a virtual format. Zines are self-published booklets that are easy to make and inexpensive to reproduce, so they're made to be copied and shared with others. Zines fit into the history of self-publishing, and zines in particular started out as fan magazines made in the science fiction community in the 1930s, but today you can find zines on any topic imaginable. To help you understand what zines are and how the topics of zines can vary widely, I'm going to show you some of my favorite zines that I've ever made. This one is the You Can Make a Zine zine. It has instructions for people learning to make zines, and it's probably one of my favorites because we've used it in our workshop series to teach so many people about how fun zine making can be. This is a zine I made last year about how I really enjoy the hobby of bread making. I used photos of slices of bread that I had made and through the bread making process in the zine along with text that I wrote. This is a zine about how much I love listening to NPR. I researched the history of NPR for the zine and put some of the facts in the zine. This is a zine I wrote about tomato sandwiches and just how much I love them. I was living in Ohio and no one there eats tomato sandwiches, and I was trying to explain how good they are, and I just had to make a zine about it. This is a zine I made about some of my favorite summer activities, like going to the lake and roller skating. This is a zine I made about the concept of intersectionality, and my favorite spread is this one in the zine that has a quote by Kimberly Crenshaw, who coined the term intersectionality in 1989. This is a zine of some of my art about gardening and beekeeping. And in this zine, there are no words, just pictures. And that is a perfectly acceptable way to make a zine. They can also have no pictures and just words. Those are some of my favorite zines. I have one last zine to share with you, and that is the What is a Zine zine. Through this zine, we'll learn about the history of zine making together. Zines are self-published booklets. They're easily reproducible and have been written about a wide variety of topics. The first zine was written in the 1930s. Fans of science fiction made fanzines or fan magazines about their favorite science fiction stories. Fanzines were reproduced on the mimeograph, an early copy machine. The first fanzine ever made was called The Comet. The first printed version of the concept of Superman appeared in a 1933 fanzine by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Zines gained a lot of popularity during the punk movement, which began in the 1970s. Punk zines were mostly about punk music and DIY culture. The widespread availability of the Xerox machine also helped zines gain popularity. Zines are typically inexpensive to make and reproduce, so they can be easily shared. In the 1990s, the third wave feminist movement brought on the creation of feminist zines like Riot Girl. The popularity of the internet brought us e-zines or electronic zines, but even today, there are printed zines being made by people all over the world on nearly any topic you can think of. There are even zine conventions and zine libraries. So what are you waiting for? Let's make a zine together. In part 2 of the workshop, we'll learn how to fold up a one-page zine, a special type of zine that has 8 pages but is made from a single sheet of paper, so it's especially easy to copy and share with others. Let's fold up this zine together. You can print out your own copy of the You Can Make a Zine handout to fold up with me, or you can use a blank sheet of paper. Once you have the blank zine folded up, you can add your own content and then you'll have your very first zine. Take your sheet of paper and fold it in half lengthwise. After every fold, you're going to fold it back on itself the other direction to make the folds a little bit more flexible for when we assemble the zine at the end. After you've folded it that way, the next step is to fold it this way. And you'll want to make this fold back on itself as well. After the second fold, your page should be divided into 4 equal sections. We're going to end up with a zine that has 8 pages, so we need 8 equal sections. The next step is that we'll fold the sides into the middle like this. Be careful to make your folds evenly and carefully. This will make the assembly at the end much easier. Make this fold back the opposite way as well. Now that your page has 8 equal sections, we're going to make the opening in the center of the paper that you may have noticed in mine. To do so, you will fold your paper like this again, and then you're going to cut it from the fold at the center of the page to where the folds intersect with each other right here. So if you're cutting to the end of the paper, you're going to have to start over. So you're just cutting a slit in the center here. When I open up my paper, it looks like this. Now that you have all your folds made and the center cut, it's time to put together the zine. To do so, you'll fold the zine lengthwise like this again, and then you'll start pushing in the sides. And you want to have an opening form in the center that looks like a diamond shape like this. And as you keep pushing the sides together, it makes a plus sign shape. And then you're going to look for the cover if you are folding up a zine that's printed with content. Otherwise, any side can be the cover if it's a blank zine. And then you're just going to fold it like this, and then you have an 8-page booklet. So that's how we took one sheet of copy paper and made it into an 8-page booklet. If you need to make copies to give to your friends, you can just unfold it and run it through the copy machine like this. Then fold up all the copies, and you have a bunch of zines. The You Can Make a Zine zine gives you tips for making your zines. Start here. Begin with an idea that you want to share. Gather materials. Whatever you have will work. Paper, pens, collage materials, etc. Assemble the blank pages. Make a one-page zine easily from a single sheet of paper. Fill in the details. Share your idea through the pages of your zine in words and pictures. Don't worry if it doesn't look perfect. The idea is the most important part. Finally, share your zine. Make copies and give them to people. The next step of the workshop is to fold up a zine using a blank sheet of paper if you haven't done so already. If you're nervous about making mistakes, you can always fold up several and use one as a rough draft to pencil in where you want to put different things in your zine. Don't take it too seriously or focus on making mistakes. Just have fun with it. The idea is the most important part. Thanks for joining me for parts 1 and 2 of the Zine Making Workshop. For part 3 of the workshop, Dr. Lesley Graybeal will walk us through how to develop content for our zines.